Once was a land of woe and strife, where the people were bereft of hope. They prayed to their gods of might and light to deliver the heroes of old. Instead they got heroes. Did you hear the quotes in my voice of moral ambiguity? They may help or may not help you at all. Depends on what's in it for them. They kick and they punch and they maul and they smash. They lie and they scheme and they burn and they slash. Succeed or fail, it adds to the tale. Dungeons and Debacle starts now.
Hello and welcome to this episode of the Dungeons and Debacles podcast. I am your host and dungeon master, Kevin. Going around the table, Blake.
Hi, I'm Blake, and I'll be playing the Eldritch Knight, Wizard, Dragonborn, Juliet.
And Hannah.
I'm Hannah, and I'll be playing Talia, the Human Rogue.
And John.
Hey, I'm John, and my role in this TPK is to manage Alunodas, Elven Monk.
And and Shane.
That's me. I'm playing Alexander, the Human Bard Wizard.
And Oliver is not with us this week, so I will definitely make sure to have the dragon bite his head off. Because that's what you get. Alright, so last time on Dungeons and Debacles podcast, you guys left Cassock Stonefoot's lair and made it back to Brown Meadow, where you gathered your strength again and supplies before your trip to Ashfell to try to find the Bonebreaker artifact from the Bonebreaker camp near Mount Smolder. You traveled through the desert for almost a week before you came upon a pit that Edel's horse reared up at, and he was bucked from the horse and fell down into this pit. Once he got to the bottom of it, he began to start finding some coins and gems, gold and platinum pieces scattered everywhere, and started to pick them up. And as he got back towards the back of the cave, he found a ancient corpse with some interesting items on it that you really don't know what they are. There was a silvery pendant around the neck of this corpse that had been fossilized into the side of this wall that had some strange writing on it that you couldn't identify even through a spell. There was also a playing card size, I don't know how to describe it. It looks like a playing card, but it's a little bit thicker, and it's white. And it's made out of some material that you're not familiar with. And then you also found a gold ring on this corpse. And as you're looting this corpse, the back wall of this cave that you're underneath in the sand began to shift and move. And Juliet turned around and saw two blue holes sticking out of the wall. And it began to breathe out sand. And the wall crumbled further, and the head of a young blue dragon punched through. It shakes the sand from its face and opens its eyes and says,
"Normally I would be furious at being woken from my slumber, but rarely does my dinner come to me, and I am very hungry."
And the dragon begins to work its way out of the wall and lets loose a horrible scream. And I'm going to need Edel and Juliet to make a wisdom save.
It's a natural 1 for a 3 total.
And that is a 13. Edel is going to fail as well. So you hear this horrible scream come out of this dragon's mouth, and you're just shaken with fear, and you are now under the fear effect. So that means that you're going to get disadvantages on attacks and skill checks, and you cannot move any closer to this dragon.
That is correct.
So it begins to work its way out, and the dragon after he does this scream, he says,
I do apologize for that. It's instinct. Don't make this hard on yourselves. I am your curse, and I am your doom. I am going to eat you. There's no avoiding that. Don't resist, and I promise I will make it quick. I'll just bite your head off. You won't feel a thing. But if you try to run or fight, I will make you suffer. I will disembowel you, and I will watch as you try to hold your guts, as you scream and bleed out in the sand. Or maybe I will rack your body with lightning to stun you before I tear your limbs one by one. But I'd rather not. It's taxing. Not to mention, when you creatures have your blood up in fear or pain, you don't taste as good. So, why not be good little meat nuggets and just let me eat you? We both win. What do you say? Deal?
Can we hear any of that at the back of the cave?
oh yeah, it's pretty loud. So this booming voice is coming from underneath, and you don't really know what's going on down there, but you hear like this booming voice. And give me a perception check.
16.
Okay, so 16, you can make out what this voice is saying down there. And Alexander, that's a 22. You can hear it as well. Talia, you want to give me a perception check?
I did. It was a 19.
Oh yeah, so you hear it too. So you hear exactly what this voice is saying down there. But since it's further underground, you don't really have a vantage point to see what's saying that. At this point, this dragon has moved fully out of the wall, and what Edel and Juliet are seeing is a young blue dragon that has like these cobalt blue scales, almost black. The body of it is probably about the size of like a lion or a tiger. It's pretty big, but, not, when you think of dragon, you're not thinking like this size. So it's about the size of a tiger or a lion, and it looks to have a wingspan probably about anywhere between like 12 and 15 feet. But you can't really, know that because it doesn't have its wings like stretched out. It's just at this point shaking the sand off of itself, off of its wings and body. Kind of like a wet dog shaking off water. So Edel's going to say to the dragon, I'm not going to be your meat.
Does he really? He's scared, right? Can he really say that?
Yeah, and then what he's going to do is he is going to start running out of the cave. So, Juliet, what are you doing?
Juliet's going to stammer, Dragon! And level her weapon to go head to head with this thing.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and ask everybody to go ahead and roll initiative. This young blue dragon has moved out of the wall, and at this point it is almost face to face with Edel and Juliet, but it looks like Alunodas, you're going to go first. So you're hearing this ruckus down in this cave, and you're hearing something big making threats of eating people.
And I heard some sort of horrible scream. How much movement does it take to hop down into the hole?
From where you are, if you're just going to hop down in the hole, it's a 20-foot hole. So if you don't try to climb down, if you just jump, you're going to be taking 2d6 points of damage.
Damn. So basically, I get to hop down into the hole and sort of like tap the wall every once in a while and do all sorts of cool ninja shit to not get hurt on the way down.
Okay, if you want to try that, I will let you do a acrobatics check to try to do that, but that'll be your action, and then basically your move is going to be That right there is going to be your 5 feet, and then once you hit the bottom, then you'll be able to get the rest of your movement.
Okay.
All right, so that's going to fail. So give me a dex check.
Doesn't seem fair to make me do a check on a class feature.
What, climbing is your class feature?
Slow fall. Reduce falling damage by an amount equal to 5 times your level. So up to 25 damage at this point.
Okay, so there's that would at max cost you 12 damage to fall down this hole, so we're going to say that you don't take any damage.
Yep, it's Wuxia. He just sort of runs his way down this circular wall in a spiral.
Okay, so now that you're at the bottom of the pit, you've got the rest of your movement you can take.
Okay, so I've used up 5, 10. How much?
10 feet.
Alright, that's one move. I'm going to go ahead and use a chi point to take the Step of the Wind to dash as a bonus action. So now I'm next to the dragon, and I'm going to punch it right in the snoot.
Does the slow fall, does that take an action to do?
I don't think so. I didn't write that down as taking an action in my thing. I can double check real quick.
Because that seems like that would be more of an action than a bonus action.
No, it's a reaction.
Okay,
I don't know.
so you would get your standard action then.
Okay, good. Alright, so that means his first attack, because he gets 2 now. So he boops him right in the snoot for 25 to hit.
That'll hit.
For 8 damage. And his second punch, because he can do that now. 23.
That hits too.
For another 9 damage.
Alright.
And he's already spent his bonus action, so that will do it for Alunodas. Punching a dragon in the face.
So next up is this dragon. He sees you come jumping down the down into the cave, and then running up and then punching him twice, and he's like,
Good. You brought appetizers and dessert.
and then you punch him, and he chuckles as spark starts to come out of his nostrils, and he says,
You're quick, elf, but are you quick enough?
and then he's going to take a bite at you. That's a 7. That's going to miss.
Ha! I am that quick. You know.
And then he is going to take a claw attack, and that is a crit. And that'll be 17 damage. And he's going to roll the crit table. And that is Haymaker. Your attack hits so hard it stuns your opponent until the end of your next turn. So you are now stunned.
And that just means I don't get an action on my next turn?
A stunned creature is incapacitated, can't move, and can't speak, only faltering. The creature automatically fails strength and dex saves. Attack rolls against the creature have advantage.
That does not bode well.
But I do still get to do stuff.
You're incapacitated. What can you do?
Oh, okay.
So the dragon laughs and says,
I guess you're not quick enough.
as basically you've got little birdies flying around your head right now. Alexander, you're up.
It's my time to shine.
Literally,
this
little
little
spell those things shine.
Okay, so we have the rope tied around the horses, right? And the horses are just chilling.
Yep.
I will jump into the hole, and then I will...
Are you using the rope to jump down into the hole?
Yeah.
Give me a athletics check with advantage.
Oh, 15.
Yeah, so you're able to take this rope and wrap it around your arm, and then like skid your boots down the sand into this thing without getting hurt, and we're going to say that that's going to be half your movement.
Okay. And what? Is that a lunar? I mean, Edel on the left
Yep, he should be
by the
labeled.
dragon.
Edel's
no,
to the
no.
right of the dragon, and Alunodas is to the left of the dragon. Okay.
17 hit.
Okay, so you slide down into this hole through the rope, and you spin with your crossbow up and ready to fire. That's a 17. That is going to miss.
Okay. I guess that's my turn.
All right, Juliet, you're up.
Alright. With an unsteady hand, Juliet's going to take 2 attacks at this beast. First one is an 11 at disadvantage. The second one is a 10 at disadvantage.
All right, both of those are going to miss.
That is the end of Juliet's turn.
Go ahead and give me a wisdom save.
Gotcha. That is a natural 1. Again.
So yeah, you're still afraid. Next up is Edel. So he is going to cast Shield of Faith, and a shimmering fields appears and surrounds him, granting a +2 AC bonus for the duration. And that is going to be his action. And he is going to try to move up here and flank this dragon.
He can't do that. Sorry, he can't.
Oh yeah, that's right, because
scared.
he's under fear effect. So he is going to roll saving throw. And that is a 10. That is going to fail. So next up is Talia.
Alright. I am going to also try to get down the hole using the rope.
Okay, give me a athletics check with advantage.
Okay.
So that's an 18. So you're lightweight and you've got a low center of gravity. So you just grab a hold of this rope and basically do like a repelling move, skidding your feet in the sand till your feet hit the bottom. So we're going to say that that's half of your movement to get down there because it's a difficult terrain. So you've got about another 2 squares you can move.
Alright, I will move those 2 squares. And then, I will use my dash ability, which I just looked up and I forgot what it did.
It's double your movement.
Okay, so
So you could move 6 more squares.
I'll move there. And then, I think... I don't know, I'm thinking that I might, cast Fog Cloud to hide mine and Alexander's movements. And I'll like, start it, like, back behind me 2 squares. So, like, there. And then it's a 20-foot radius from there.
So it's centered on you. Looks like.
Yeah, basically. Like, it won't go up far enough to hide what Juliet and what them, like, to prevent them from seeing what they're doing, but it'll keep what Alexander and I are doing hidden until we get out of it. Alright, and that'll be my turn.
Alright, Alunodas, you're up.
Okay.
I don't think you can do anything this turn, can you?
Oh, that's right, I cannot. I'm going to mumble quietly to myself.
Alright, the dragon's up next, and Alexander, you're on deck.
Woo!
Alright, so this dragon sees Talia and Alexander come down the steps, or down into the pit, and sees that you guys are lined up, and it is going to breathe lightning. Alright, so I'm going to need Juliet, Alexander, and Talia to give me a dex save.
Okay.
A natural 1 again.
14.
Sorry.
All right, so Juliet fails, Shane fails, Hannah passes, and Hannah, don't you have evasion now?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so you're not going to take any damage. And Juliet and Shane, you're going to take 32 points of lightning damage.
Okay.
So this dragon is going to rear its head back, and there's going to be this crackling in its nostrils, and it's going to let loose this whitish blue arc of electricity. Basically point blank into Juliet. It's going to hit her, arc around her, come towards Talia. Talia, describe how you're going to jump out of the way of this lightning.
I'm going to see like a glow through the fog and just kind of like roll to the side real quick and get out of its way.
Okay, so this bolt of lightning is going to streak over your head, and then it's going to go piercing through this fog cloud and then hit Alexander in the chest. And then the lightning is going to ground into the floor beneath him. All right, next up is Alexander. And at this point, Alunodas, you are no longer stunned because that's the end of the dragon's turn.
Haha.
I guess it's my turn?
Yep.
Yeah, I've got 16 health points. I'm gonna do like the bit where like who has 2 thumbs and has more HP, and I'm gonna use healing word on myself. Healing for 4 HP.
All right. So you still got an action in your movement.
Right.
Now, Talia, functionally, what does this fog cloud do? It says it's heavily obscured, lasts for duration until a wind of moderate or greater speed, but it doesn't say like functionally what it does. Does this give you cover?
I was trying to find that because I copied it directly from the thing, but I think I skipped some, like I missed something or something, because I remember it saying that like it basically super like it's heavily obscured, so you can't really see through it. Let me see if I can find that information.
I'm reading it right now. You create a 20-foot radius sphere of fog centered on a point within range. Spreads around corners, heavily obscured. Lasts for duration until wind at least 10 miles an hour disperses it. And then it says at higher levels you cast a spell using a spell slot a second level higher, the radius increases by 20 feet. But it doesn't really show like functionally like what it does mechanically.
There is an effect, obscured or something like that, which is similar to cover. I don't remember where in the book it is.
Alright, so what I'm going to say is this is going to give you, since it's dense fog and you're being obscured, I'm going to say that any attacks through the fog are going to be with disadvantage, just because that's probably the easiest thing to do.
Okay.
And that would be for any creature, not just enemies. So if you make an attack through this cloud, or the dragon makes an attack, or anyone else makes an attack, it's going to be at a disadvantage.
Ah, got it. Here it is. Heavily obscured area, such as darkness, big fog, or dense foliage, blocks vision entirely. A creature effectively suffers from the blinded condition, trying to see something in that area. So you guys can step out, fire, and then step back in and just be completely, basically invisible. And the blinded condition, I'm going to post it there, but you guys can look it up on your own if you're in the podcast.
Automatically fails any ability checks that require sight, and attack rolls against the creature have disadvantage.
Also, what is the range on my throwing dagger?
I think it's 20 feet.
Yeah, I think it's 20 feet too.
Oh, okay.
And then, like, you could do 40 feet, but it would be at disadvantage.
Gotcha.
Can I roll a knowledge check? Well, a history knowledge or whatever to see if I can recall a monster that a blue dragon would possibly be afraid of?
Yes, go ahead.
A bigger blue dragon.
Yeah.
So would it be a nature check?
I would say probably either nature or arcana.
20.
Yeah, you think what this dragon would be afraid of, probably the only thing would be like a larger dragon?
And with this check, would I be Do I just like instinctively know like pretty much the hierarchy of different dragons, like which ones are more powerful?
I don't think they're more powerful anymore.
Yeah, there's not like, you wouldn't say, well, a red dragon's more powerful than a blue dragon. It would basically depend on their age and size.
Okay, I would like to use Major Image, which will allow me to make an illusion pretty much as long as it's contained within like a square like 20 feet. And I would like to make an illusion of a dragon about twice the size of the blue dragon at the end of the cave, and have the illusion make it seem like it's flying in through the tunnel which I came in through.
Okay.
I'm gonna post the spell real quick. So I'm gonna have it come in, do a breath of fire as it's coming in, like in the air towards the ceiling, to like demonstrate its strength, I guess.
Okay.
And then I'd like to yell to the blue dragon. As the dragon's coming in, I yell to the dragon down the hallway that we have a dragon as well.
All right. What's your spell DC?
Let me check. 14.
All right. So this blue dragon says,
What? I don't see any dragon.
Shit.
because where did you place the dragon illusion? Because you can't put it past the fog cloud, right? Or is that what that? Where did you place the dragon illusion?
1 second, I'm trying to figure out the draw tool in that space.
Okay, so the dragon can't see it.
So the fog cloud is like over top of the blue dragon.
The fog cloud encompasses that entire blue square right there. So you've basically put the dragon illusion that you've created inside that fog, so the blue dragon can't see it.
Sick. Okay, can I have it like... Well, I could probably make it roar or something, but I guess I'd have to run forward with my next
No,
next
you
action.
can do that.
Yeah, I'll just have him roar excessively loud.
Okay, so the blue dragon hears that roar and says, "That doesn't sound like any dragon I've ever heard."
I guess that's my turn.
Goddamn skeptic dragons.
Well, it made a wisdom save. Juliet, you're up.
Perfect. Alright. So, Juliet's going to take a deep breath, try to focus here, and use second wind to heal up for 11 points of healing. Perfect. And then realizing her attacks are quite unsteady, she's instead going to use a practiced wave of her hand with a magic missile at it. Will be shot out for 12 force damage at the dragon.
Alright, so you gather yourself and wave your hand, and these bluish, whitish bolts of arcane energy fly from your fingertips and smack this dragon right in the face, and it flinches back, closes its eyes.
That is all Juliet can do.
Alright, next up is...
Wisdom save at the end, right?
Yeah, wisdom save.
A 9. Perfect.
Yep, it's better, but it's still not going to do it. Alright, so next up is Edel.
Quick question.
Yep.
Shotgun question. So, in the description of the spell, it says that everything about my thing seems real, and that it can use an action to inspect like what it looks like, right? So, how does it make a wisdom save against the dragon roar? Like, how does that work?
Because you're just making a sound. It can't see anything that's going on. So it was basically, that's an insight check for it. It's trying to tell whether or not you're lying. Because it can't see your illusion because it's in the cloud, and all it can hear is like a noise.
Okay, sure. I was just mildly confused.
I think it should be an intelligence investigation check, but...
Well, it's more like you're trying to fool this dragon, so it'd be more insight. And since it's not proficient in it, it was just a wisdom save for it.
Alright.
So, Edel is going to take the Bonebreaker greatsword from his back, and he is going to take a swing at this dragon with disadvantage. That's a 23 and a 21. So he is going to lay into this dragon with the Bonebreaker great sword and do 17 points of damage with the first attack. And then he is also going to do a smite on top of that. So that's going to be an extra 2d8. So that's going to be a extra 6 points of damage. So all in total, that'll be 23. And for his second attack, that is a 19 and a 22. So that will hit. And that will be for 13 points of damage. So Edel just takes his greatsword and in one smooth motion slices down at this dragon's head and hits one of its horns and knocks its head back, and then in another move slices up and takes it underneath the chin, and he is going to do his save against fear, and that's still going to be a fail. Next up is Talia.
Alright, so I am going to run forward to there. I guess there would be better. And I'm going to throw my dagger at this, my throwing dagger at this person, or at this dragon.
That's a 14, that's going to miss.
I am going to, how far away from the blue dragon? Like, that's more than 10 feet, isn't it?
Yeah, you would, well, that's 1, 2, 3, 15 feet.
Okay. And I used all of my movement speed, I think, so I am going to go ahead and just back into, I'm going to use my dash to go back into the fog cloud.
Okay.
But I'm going to move, like, there, so that where I was, where he saw me go in, isn't where I am anymore.
Alright. Alunodas, you're up.
Alright, what space is this dragon occupying?
15 feet. He's still got
I mean, is it like the spaces that it's drawn to occupy, that T shape, or?
Yes.
I'm trying to figure out how to flank it. So, like, would this flank it?
No.
Is it possible or no? I mean,
Not at the moment. You would have to go from opposite sides, so either myself or Edel would have to move to the other side.
Yeah. Which you can't do yet, but I'll prepare for the eventuality.
Yeah.
In the meantime, I'm going to punch it.
I was going to say he's kind of backed up against the wall, and you can't in a turn in the space that it occupies. So where you are right now is about as far as you can get, and because Edel can't flank or move to flank against its head because he's still afraid.
Yep. So, but eventually, maybe. All right. I'm going to go ahead and punch this individual right in the cloaca.
I don't know if that's allowed on this kind of podcast.
Chopper sick cloaca.
Thump, motherfucker. Okay, first attack for 17.
That's going to miss.
Boom. Alright, second attack for 21.
That will hit.
For 7 damage. And bonus action, it's going to be a flurry of blows for a chi point. Crit!
That's a crit. So give me your base damage first.
Okay, 11 on the crit damage, and then 19 on the d20 for the crit.
That is devastating blow. Target loses 20% of current hit points or critical damage, which is ever is greater, but not both.
Nice job, man.
Haha, that's my revenge for getting critted last time.
So that's actually more than the critical damage that you did, so that's good.
Ooh.
All right, is that it?
Nope, he has another flurry of blows attack, and he gets to do stuff with his flurry of blows, which I'll wait until I'm done with the attacks before I put that in there. So next flurry of blows for 25.
That's a hit.
For another 8 damage. Oh, no, that'll be 5 damage. I guess it's, 5 damage.
Okay.
And with flurry of because he hit with one of, or both of them actually, but I'm going to go ahead and try to knock. Yep, go ahead and save versus dexterity or be knocked prone. Going to knock this dragon down on its butt / cloaca.
What's the DC?
Save versus dex, 8 plus proficiency plus wisdom mod 14. Looks like.
All right, it saves.
Boo. Okay, so we did get knocked down on this color. But that will do it for Alunodas' turn.
So you walk up to this thing, and then you punch it in the neck, and then punch it in the chest, and then punch it 2 more times, and you can just see it reeling like from your blows. And then you hit it really hard on the last time, and it kind of like rocks back a little bit off balance, but it's able to correct itself. And next up is the dragon. So it catches its balance again, looks at you, Alunodas, and says,
That hot elf, you will pay for that.
And he's going to try to recharge its breath weapon.
I might not pay for that.
It did not recharge its breath weapon, so it is going to pull its head back and lunge at you for a bite. That is a 15. That's going to miss.
Aha, that misses.
And then it is going to take its claw after it misses you with its bite and try to slash you across the chest. And that's a 15. That'll miss as well.
I did not pay for that.
Next up is Alexander.
That is I. What am I doing with my life? I will move my dragon illusion up past the fog with my movement action. I want to say I use.
That would be just enough to poke its head out of the fog.
Yeah.
Hold on just a second. I'm reading the spell description. You create an image of an object or creature or some other visible phenomenon that is no larger than a 20-foot cube. The image appears the spot you can see within range and lasts for the duration. Completely real, including sound, smells, temperature, appropriate thing depicted. You can't create sufficient heat or cold to cause damage. As long as you're within range of the illusion, you can use your action to cause the image to move to any other spot. And what's the range on this? 120 feet? Yeah, so you would be good. Physical interaction with the image reveals it to be an illusion because things could pass through it. A creature that uses its action to examine the image can determine if it's an illusion with a successful intelligence check against your spell DC. If a creature discerns the illusion for what it is, the creature can see through the image, and other sensory qualities become faint to the creature. Alright, so you move the illusion out of the fog.
Yep.
And we'll just say that this is a copy of it right here. All
But
right.
it goes to the green, doesn't it?
What's that?
The fog goes to the green, doesn't it?
All right.
Yeah, so that's there. So that would be my... It says I can use my action. So is that my standard action that I use to move it?
Yes.
Okay, and I'll use my move action to... I'll just stay to the side over there using my move action. And then I think I'm good.
Okay. Next up is Juliet.
Perfect. Now that there are 2 dragons, Juliet is going to fling another spell at this thing.
Give me a perception check.
You got it. That is going to be a 2.
Okay, so yeah, you don't know that there's a dragon behind you.
Fantastic. Fire off another magic missile at the blue dragon in front of me. And that would be 8 force damage.
All right, you go pew pew.
That is the end of Juliet's turn.
All right, next up is Edel. So Edel is going to take 2 more swings at this dragon. So first attack with disadvantage, that's at 11, that's going to miss. And then the second attack, that's a 16 and a 12, that's going to miss as well. So he's still afraid of this thing, and he's taking wild chops at it and just finding air. Next up is Talia.
Alright.
Yep, he's hold on. Good point. He's got to save. That's a 13. That's still going to fail. All right, Talia, you're up.
Alright, so I am going to move up next to Juliet. So earlier Alexander had said we have a dragon on our side too. Can I assume that I know that this dragon isn't a threat?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna move around it, and move up next to Juliet, and throw my dagger again. If I can get the thing to scroll.
It's a 17.
17.
Yep, that's going to miss.
Alright, so now I'm going to try, because I didn't use all of my move. So I'm going to try poison spray on it, because I'm within range.
You've already taken an action.
Oh, I thought it was a bonus action. Okay.
Uh,
Never mind.
Unless it says the poison spray is a bonus action, it should be a standard.
Let me double check.
I think it's a cantrip. Most of the cantrips are bonuses, I want to say.
It is a cantrip.
No, it's not the way that the cantrips aren't automatic.
Casting time, 1 action.
Yeah,
Oh,
there
it
are
is
very
one action.
few
Okay.
cantrips that are actually bonus actions. It's so weird. but
Instead, then I will just move back into the fog.
Okay.
Using dash so I can move further than my movement action would have me.
All right, Alunodas, you're up.
Come on, guys. Feels like I'm doing all the work of punching this thing to death in the cloaca.
You are.
Speaking of, punching in the cloaca. 21.
That'll hit.
Ha ha ha, for 5 damage. 18.
That will hit.
Alright, right in the joint of the wing. You know, just to fuck with it. For 7 damage.
All right, so you punch and
And-
punch. Oh, you doing flurry of blows?
Yep. Because I don't like this dragon. It hurt me. Made me feel bad. So 21 for 7 more damage. And 22 for a further 8. And it'll have to save versus Dex for DC 14 or be knocked prone.
All right, so it's going to fail that save, so it is now prone.
And that does it for Alunodas' turn. Punch, punch, punchy, punch. Punch, punch.
All right, next up is the blue dragon. It is not happy at all, so it is going to stand back up, using its talons to push it back up on its feet, and it's going to try to recharge its breath weapon, and it doesn't.
Thank God.
And it is going to take a bite at Alunodas. That's an 18
That'll hit.
for 14 damage. And then it's going to do 2 claw attacks. That's a 12 that's going to miss. And that's an 11 it's going to miss. So it's going to bite down on your shoulder and tear a little bit of your robe and some flesh away from you. And then it's going to swallow and lick its lips.
Gross.
Alexander, you're up.
That's my name. Move forward. So I'm not able to see through the mist, right?
No.
So I'm just blind as a bat.
Yep, all you see is fog.
Can I use suggestion on dragons?
You could try. But don't you have to...
I don't think that. Yeah, I don't think that accomplishes anything.
You have to see it too.
Can't really use lightning bolt. I guess I'm just passing.
could always come out of the fog and shoot it.
No, I just moved and my max
Oh.
range ended up in the fog.
Yep.
Not going to do anything with the illusion?
What am I gonna do? I can't. It can't like touch anything.
You could always do a Crispin Day speech.
Yeah, and I can't like have it. I can't see where it's going really. Yeah. So solid turn.
Next up is Juliet.
Juliet is going to continue the magical assault. Another magic missile for 11 damage.
Pew pew.
Pew pew pew. A haughty smile and some kind of magic word, which I'm sure is a curse word, but who knows? That's it for Juliet. Wisdom save at the end. Yes, 6.
Fails. Next up.
I'm sorry, I think I'm using up all the good rolls.
Next up is Edel, who is going to take 2 swings at this dragon. First one is an 11. That's going to miss. And the second one is a 19. That will hit for 9 damage. Next up is Talia.
Okay, so Talia's gonna move back out of the fog. Next to Julia again. I totally just called her Julia. I'm sorry. And since, her daggers don't seem to be doing anything because it's a big dragon with scales, I'm going to cast Poison Spray on it.
Nice.
Alright, so that's DC 13.
Yep.
And it passes.
God bless America. Alright, and I will hide back in the fog again.
It got a 13 exactly on it.
So is that safe for half damage? Or no damage?
Most cantrips don't have like a half damage.
Yeah. That sucks.
Alright, Alunodas. If you could get Talia, like, in this fight, this would probably be ended really quickly. With sneak attack and 2 dagger attacks.
I guess, but like...
I don't blame you, though. I mean, you're a little girl fighting a dragon.
Well, also, like... It's so big.
Well, it's only the size of a tiger. Which are pretty damn big, but yeah. Alright, so, punch.
Side note, it is April Fool's.
It was all a dream.
I just got fooled.
So, Alunodas winds up, and with his bad arm, the one that has a chunk of meat taken out of it, takes a swing. I think that misses. 17.
Yeah, that misses.
Alright, now with his good arm, he'll miss again. And then he'll use a chi point to take Step of the Wind to get some extra defense against further attacks.
Alright, next up is the dragon. You want to try to recharge the breath weapon and doesn't do it. Is going to try to take a bite out of Edel. That is a crit for 17 damage against Edel. And it's going to take 2 claw attacks. And the second one is going to hit for 7 damage. So you see this dragon like turn around from Alunodas and bite down and take 2 swipes at Edel. And you're going to see him bite into Edel's left arm and just blood spray. And then take a slash across his chest. And you hear chainmail ripping.
That's going to be expensive to repair.
Some staples, it'll be fine. Alexander, you're up.
Quick question. So if I dash, do I still get the standard action or no?
If you don't have dash as a class feature, then it would be
it's a class feature. Okay. Never mind.
It would be, but you can do it. It'll be a standard action and a move action to do it, though.
Okay.
But you can get outside of the fog with just your action.
But that doesn't. I don't know. I'm trying to use lightning bolt at like point blank range, but I can't really use lightning bolt without killing all of my teammates.
Yeah, you would hit Edel at the very least.
Do you have 5 or 6 moves?
I think I have 30.
You could get up to Edel's right, and
at 30 speed.
Then you wouldn't necessarily hit anyone.
Yeah, you could make it to these coins if you've got 30 feet.
Then just shablammo. Well, I am going to go ahead and use my magnificent lightning bolt.
Alright, so you run up and jump on top of this pile of coins. And then you start speaking these words and doing this hand motion with, a piece of wool and a rubber rod. And there's this bolt of bluish-white, bright, arcane energy and lightning that springs from your hands and slams into this dragon. And the dragon starts to laugh at you.
That tickled. Do it again.
And it takes no damage. It's a blue dragon. It's immune to lightning.
I'd like to take my crossbow and put it to my brain.
All right.
I think that's a standard action. Can't do it.
Bonus action.
Next up is Juliet.
Alright. Muttering under her breath at the incompetence of a certain member of her party who just wasted a spell. Perfectly good one at that. Juliet's gonna strain a little bit and cast a higher level magic missile, dealing 14 force damage this time with 4 magic missiles.
So you reform the motions again, and 4 bolts of arcane energy fly from your fingertips and smack into the dragon. And the dragon's like,
That's the spirit.
anything else?
Nope, that's it.
All right, next up is Edel. Oh, did you do your wisdom save?
Oh, no, I didn't. Thank you. And a 6.
You are still afeared. All right, so Edel recovers from these bites and slashes from this dragon, and you notice that there's some blood dripping down his arm, and he takes that arm and grabs a hold of the Bonebreaker greatsword with both hands and comes swinging down at the dragon. That's a 20. That's going to hit for 15 damage. And then he is going to attack again, and that is a 14. And he tries to find, that same place where he just found. There's like a couple of broken skulls. He's trying to hit that spot again and misses, and his blades deflected off some other skulls that are unbroken. Next up is Talia.
Talia is going to, I think I have enough movement to move there.
Believe so.
And I will attack with my daggers.
You could have been doing sneak attacks the whole time with your... Well, I mean, it probably wouldn't have mattered if you weren't hitting, but still, you could have been doing sneak attacks the whole time.
I could have been. I'm going to do
With advantage.
So that's a 14. The first one's going to miss. And that's a 25. That'll hit.
And I can use sneak attack, yes?
Yep.
For an extra 3 damage.
So that's a total of 6 damage.
And then for a bonus action, I'm going to use disengage to get out of melee range.
Your bonus action would have been the offhand attack.
Oh, would have been the offhand attack, you're right. Yep, I'm gonna die. It's cool. Alright, you guys.
Next up is Alunodas.
See, first off, I'm pretty sure that Talia's sneak attack is 2d6 at 5th level. No, it's 3d6, not 1d6.
Is it? I only have it written in here as 1d6, like the original. Hold on.
At 5th level, it's 3d6.
Yeah.
So, I should roll 2 more d6.
That's more like it.
And I'm going to put a note in here about that.
Oh, and actually, I was mistaken. You don't get evasion until 7th level. You have uncanny dodge at this level.
Right. I do have uncanny dodge.
But uncanny dodge is still really good.
Yep, so...
It is, but I should have gotten hit by a lot of damage earlier.
Yeah, you would have taken 16 points of lightning damage because you saved. Alright, so what was your extra damage on the sneak attack?
An extra 7. An extra 10 for 13 total damage, if that makes any sense.
Yep. So, Talia, you take this swing and you find that sensitive spot where the scales were broken off from Edel's attack and plunge your offhand dagger into that spot, and you see this dragon stagger. And it's looking pretty rough, and it's starting to bleed profusely from that spot.
Woohoo! Take it down, Edel.
I totally will. Alright, Alunodas gathers his strength with Talia's presence bolstering his resolve and punches. And misses. And punches again. And hits. So that's 5 damage. And he's going to go ahead and do bonus strike. He's not going to spend the cheat point. Haha! Crit! For 15 damage.
Alright, and roll the crit table.
8.
So that is Haymaker. Your attack hits so hard it stuns your opponent until the end of your next turn.
Revenge!
So, you punch, and then you miss, and then you punch, and you hit it this time, and then punch again, and you're going to hit the dragon right in the temple of its head. And it's going to, stagger back, and you kind of see its golden eyes kind of, roll back in its head.
Its eyes aren't blue?
Nope, they're gold. Alexander, you're up.
Yeah, I guess I'll move forward. Use my bonus action to change to my longsword, then swing it.
Ooh, you should do your flame weapon.
That would be pretty good.
Don't forget you have advantage against it.
Yeah, I'll you activate the spell on my ring, use my flame weapon, and just two-handed and swing it down.
That's a 9. That's going to miss.
It will.
Juliet, you're up.
Alright. Juliet's gonna wipe what non-existent sweat is from her brow and take advantage of the fact that she has advantage, so that means she doesn't suffer disadvantage, and attack with the halberd twice.
How do you have advantage?
A stunned creature is incapacitated.
Oh, yeah, that's
all
right.
attack rolls against creature have advantage. Posted in chat.
Actually, Shane, you have an advantage on this attack too, so give me another roll.
10.
Yep, still gonna miss. Juliet, take your swings.
Got it. A 23 and a sad 11.
That's gonna hit.
The 23 will do 13 piercing damage.
Alright, tell me what it looks like when you take this dragon out.
Dear God. Stealing kills. So after this barrage of magical energy, punches, and slashes, and oh my God, it just put so much damage into this thing. Juliet, finally gritting her teeth against a dragon that is no longer moving, just kind of takes a stab with her halberd, almost haphazardly, and it unfortunately hits it right between the eyes. And it's less the stab and more the removal thereof that causes the dragon's body to spasm to the ground, dead.
Alright, so you're out of combat.
Not so tough without your life, are ya?
Can we... Okay, first of all, I'm going to stop concentrating and the fog's going to go away. And then second of all, can we either drag this thing with us or take its skin so that we can make cloaks out of it?
Good call.
You absolutely can. Give me a nature check.
Because we have a cart.
Alright, so you start trying to skin and butcher this thing, and you see that you're breaking a lot of the scales off and not doing a very good job at all.
We could always just, drag it with us.
Or somebody
Talia,
else.
dear, I don't think that's how you skin something. It's not an orange.
It's my first time, I'm sorry.
She's a city girl. Be nice.
If anybody else wants to give it a try or let her keep on going at it.
I guess I'll jump at it. 17 on nature.
Alright, so Alexander says, just wait up a second. Let me give that a try. And you pull out a knife and you're able to start taking these scales off. Kind of like descaling a fish. And you're getting some good whole scales out of it. By the time you're done, you probably have a good maybe 50 pounds of these scales, and you think it's probably enough to make maybe one good set of half-plate armor, or you can make maybe 2 sets of splint mail or something like that.
Obey. Wait, you're dead.
Anything else you want to take from it? Teeth or claws or blood or anything like that?
Meat would probably be good.
Alunodas is going to make some decorative dragon claw, brass knuckle sorts of things.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll say that you take the next 4 hours picking this thing apart, and you get the eyes and blood and teeth and scales and claws and the barb at the end of its tail. And if you want to take some of that meat, you can. But dragons are... Give me a nature check. Alright, 5 and a 13. You've never tasted dragon meat before because it's, as Charlie Day would say, it's a meal for kings, not peasants. But looking at it, it seems kind of gristly. You can try eating it.
Yeah, you guys eat it. I'll stick to rations.
Well, I mean, the pig's almost, the pig's gone bad. Probably abbot food at this point. So I just thought that maybe fresh meat would be nice, but
Alunodas is vegetarian anyway.
It probably tastes better than rats. I mean,
Most things do.
Alright, so you've picked this thing clean, and you've got about 2,000 gold worth of gems and silver, gold, and platinum. What are you guys making camp down here?
It's nice
I
and
think it's
cool
out
down.
of the sun. Yeah. Well, we'd have to leave the horses and Abbott up unguarded.
Yeah, I think we should find a different place to make camp. Because leaving horses out where there's bandits and stuff like that will just take them. Like, I don't want to lose my dog. Or my horse.
All right. Well, I think that's probably a good place to end it right there.
Yeah.
And you guys survived your first dragon battle with no one being hurt really that badly. I think I got 3 of you down to, or, well, everybody down to half.
I almost died from the one lightning hit.
That was pretty tough.
God, you
My
guys
max
are...
HP is 48. I took 32 damage.
And you're so lucky it could not refresh its breath weapon. Or you would have been...
Yeah.
Oh my god. Every time you're like, it's gonna try to refresh its breath weapon, I'm like, oh please. For the love of the gods.
Yeah, that would have been a much different fight.
Yeah, we would be making new characters next week. It would have been fun. It would have been great.
At least we'd find all the artifacts in one place.
No, when you asked about evasion, I thought just because of the cloud. Like, I was trying to find information on the cloud. I didn't realize that evasion is something I got at 17. Or at level 7, rather. Something to look forward to, I suppose.
Yeah, but that uncanny dodge is badass.
It really is.
It's like, oh, that hurt. I'm going to take half that, thank you.
But only once per turn.
I mean, constantly being able to just be like,
Yeah.
no, I'm only going to take half the damage that you're saying I'm taking. That's, I'm happy.
Well, that's basically a barbarian. Except a barbarian can only do it against bludgeoning, slashing, and piercing.
So, melee attacks.
Yep. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Dungeons and Debacles podcast. If I could ask a halfling-sized favor, give us a 5-star rating and review on iTunes. It's the best way to support us. New episodes come out every Monday, so make sure to check your podcast app. Do you have an idea to make the podcast better? Tell us about it on Twitter or Facebook. You can also check out our website to see all the maps, lore, and characters at dungeonsanddebacklespodcast.com. And now a word from our fantasy sponsor.
I'm Matt Cedric of Matt Cedric's Discount Goods and Adventurers Emporium. Is your cleric a creep? Is your druid a drag? Try our healing potions. They put pep in your step and get you back in the fight. A healing potion will never try to convert you to a god or get into a moral debate with you. Just drink it and feel better about the decisions that led you to your current situation. Try our new flavors exclusive to Matt Cedric's Discount Goods and Adventurers Emporium. Berry Blitz, Melon Melee, and Arctic Chill.
Side effects may include delusions of grandeur, increased risk of infection, drowsiness, impotence, headache, and bloody stool. Ask your cleric if healing potions are right for you.
My prices are so low, I'm practically giving this stuff away. How do I do it? Don't worry about it. Come on in to Matt Cedric's Discount Goods and Adventurers Emporium. We have convenient locations in a city near you. Just talk to the town guard for directions. Matt Cedric's Discount Goods and Adventurers Emporium, where the only thing better than me is the savings. Matt Cedric's got the deals.
The music you heard on this episode was Crossing the Chasm, 5 Armies, and Mist by Kevin MacLeod at Incompetech.com. Licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0. CreativeCommons.org/licenses/by/3.0.